The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is losing a record number of its membership.
If there are any among this people who should ever apostatize, prepare your backs for a good whipping.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, since for some mysterious reason, whether YouTube dropped the ball, hired somebody else who wasn't notified that I'm supposed to be censored on YouTube, I'm back to be able to watch YouTube videos signed in. And so, yeah, I was able to resume yesterday watching this guy named Travis Wayne Goodsell's channel, watching his latest stuff, and I miss him. He's just hilarious. And one of the things about being a great comedian is how well you know the subject matter behind the jokes you tell. The better you know the subject matter, the more hilarious the jokes are. I mean, for example, if you were unaware of Mormonism, that Brigham Young framed and blamed Joseph for what Brigham Young did, such like polygamy. If you were to then go on stage and make jokes about Joseph Smith being a polygamist, you're not going to be very funny. You're going to be stupid because you didn't know the subject matter of Mormon history. Yeah, I see you cowering in your chair. Everybody fell for it because nobody did actual research. And so it's kind of essential to tell funny jokes based on how well you know the subject matter. And so, yeah, just think of your greatest comedians. They know the subject matter. Now, granted, if the audience doesn't know the subject matter, then they're not going to laugh because they don't understand the joke. For the majority of people who don't know real Mormon history, yeah, it's real hilarious that Joseph raped little girls and stole men's wives. Oh, wow, you own them. So, let's see how much stuff I can get through today. We got piles of papers starting to stack up again. Tried retiring yesterday because the first two resurrections nobody was interested in. And so I'm considering, since the majority of you are most likely new, you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not funny, therefore. I've got the idea to do a completely separate playlist yet again, but this time try to dedicate it to the subject matter, which will be quick, short videos explaining everything Jewish about the original Church of Joseph Smith. So that when I do these other videos, I can then say, refer to it. Don't think you know better than me. Go to those videos first so that you can learn what I'm talking about, so that you can then join me in laughter at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Part of my giving the bird to YouTube by flooding YouTube with a whole bunch of videos that they've been trying to censor me with. like I said, everybody is ordered by the church to attack me, and you must be ordered by the church to attack me. If you are not ordered by the church to attack me, the church will not stand in your defense when you get busted. And if you do get busted, the church hangs you out to dry, stabs you in the back, because the devil never supports his own. But if you succeed when you're ordered, you will be rewarded by the church financially as a little loyalty token. I've seen it all too many times, and so there are too many Mormons who think, oh, I'm gonna murder Travis and the church will reward me. No, you gotta be ordered by Nelson. Not a other Mormon, not the little voices in your head that you claim are from Jesus telling you to hurt other people. But I feel it's true. You have to validate my feelings. No, I don't. I need to kick you in the ass. God. Let's see. Okay, so that goes in the reference pile. 100% grapefruit juice. Pineapple juice just isn't doing it for me. This does it for me. Because it's tart. This has been consistently helpful in alleviating sore throats for me. Because back when I was a kid, my mom would always buy the sugary cough drops and the cough syrups and all that stuff. And I learned as a kid it doesn't work, but I'm not going to complain because it's like popping candy. And so it wasn't too long ago that they finally found out that, and the companies confessed, they got exposed. All of the cold remedies, flu remedies, all of that stuff, for allergies even, none of it works. Yeah, I know. I knew back in high school it didn't work. But it's taken this long for everybody else to figure it out. And so, yeah, there are natural foods in our natural remedies that still exist in our earth, have not been extinguished by big corporations, exterminated. Oh, man. So, but yeah, I am concerned the cough, there's nothing to do with the coughs. So I'm likely to be coughing for months. And so, yeah, you previously heard the coughing, it's because of the allergies. Utah's full of poison. Mormons have polluted their inheritance and are going to be doomed to utter destruction, according to the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. But they don't believe them. Can't be true. Can't be true. And so I do need to figure out ways to title it one thing. Maybe 5 things, 10 things. Because those, I'm noticing, are getting me more views. And maybe that's why YouTube lifted the ban, is because they went, crap, we're not succeeding in silencing him. He's still figuring out ways to get breakout videos. I don't know. They were doing just fine before they silenced me. I was barely getting to 50 per video. Barely. Right before they struck. And so it can only be that Oakes was pissed with some of the videos I was doing about him. And maybe the one about Nelson. All bow to the Book of Mormon. It has powers. Step aside, Jesus. You didn't show. So now we're worshiping the golden Book of Mormon with cows. Oh my God. And again, you gotta know about the joke that I'm talking about. Which I was able to merge a couple of different things in there. The Book of Mormon, which Mormons claim is literal history, containing European cows in the Promised Land. 600 BCE, which meant that it had to have been brought by the Jaredites. Which means even further back in time. And and then the golden calf of Aaron, and it's actually gold, and the church calls it golden rather than golden plates of the Book of Mormon. So yeah, multiple things. Sign of a great comedian. Let's cover some of the news. The Salt Lake City Council has voted to approve the Operation We Still Hate the Poor, in which they're going to revitalize the ballpark and the area around it, and thus exterminate the poor that are there. You know, since SCOTUS already greenlit them to make it legal, it's now legal to assassinate the poor who are living on the streets, because it's illegal to be poor now in America. SCOTUS said so. They would never violate the constitutional rights of mankind. So, American citizens, nope, not at all. Just like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true. It's all true. And we will murder you to prove it. And speaking of murder, the Supreme Court justices have U.S. Marshals that guard their homes. And Justice Sotomayor, did I pronounce that right? There was an 18-year-old carjacker in the neighborhood. And because it's in close proximity to the Supreme Court justice, the U.S. Marshal is ordered to shoot first of any criminal activity that's going on in the neighborhood. I don't think the news understood this. This is similar to martial law. This is a preventative measure of a potential all-out assault. U.S. Marshal doesn't know, but he has to be prepared. He cannot hesitate. He cannot let it go, because if there is an all-out assault and he is the one who failed to take action when it first occurred because he hesitated, then it's not going to look good for him in his future plans for career opportunities. I don't think the news understood this. They're trying to claim that was just a carjacking, an 18-year-old kid. No, this has been done throughout this nation in the course of time, where people would set traps for cops. They'd put in a 911 call to a certain location, the cops would show, ambushed. And so this kind of tactic, at the local level, no, the cops just do their job and hope that that never happens. But a U.S. Marshal protecting a Supreme Court justice is a completely different story. That little 18-year-old carjacker could be a diversionary tactic to draw the U.S. Marshal away from his guard post so that an invasion force may proceed. Similar to Nancy Pelosi's husband, as an intruder got in and assaulted her husband. And so it's unclear why there was no guards posted at Speaker of the House's home. I guess there was, but the guy was able to sneak past him or something like that. I don't know, I didn't follow it too much. But yeah, this is something that people need to realize, is that when Trump issues martial law when he wins, or when the states issue martial law when Trump loses, to make sure Trump wins, you need to understand that you can't just be free anymore. Your rights are now gone. You have to conform and comply to the National Guard, or you will be shot on sight if you are violating their orders. They will not negotiate with you. They will not listen to your appeals or your excuses or your claims of ignorance. They will shoot you on sight immediately if you are caught violating their rules after this election. It's coming. Book of Mormon said so. So, yeah. Should I go over Nicole Wallace? I sent a comment, because I can do comments now. I think I spelled Marshall wrong. But whatever. Nicole Wallace had a video clip called Supreme Court Greenlit Project 2025. In case you don't know what Project 2025 is, it's available online to download the PDF version, and I've added the picture to the previous pictures of those secret combinations that are tied directly to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Project 2025 is tied directly to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because the Heritage Foundation, which wrote it, is tied to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that's the Council for National Policy. The whole membership list that was leaked right before October conference in 2021. And after that conference, after revealing the church is involved with the secret conspiracy of the United States to overthrow our government, I then, after doing the Nelson mockery videos of conference, I just quote him. He sets it up for me. I just put his own words. I don't need to embellish them. I then found what I'd been looking for. Only hearing it as the Mormon myth, I found the source. The Way to Perfection. Joseph Smith Sr. Collection of his writings by Junior. And in there, on page 290 and 291, he confesses that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is an insurrectionist domestic terrorist group. Technically a foreign terrorist group as well. And so we're not certified as a foreign, the guys that have been getting in trouble for Trump, a foreign agent. Church is not registering as a foreign agent in all of the different nations that they're planning on overthrowing, which is all of them. So yeah, the coup in the Congo, the coup in the other place, the church is behind it. You can see the church news, and then you see what the actual news is, and you go, wait a minute. You see the church news talking about a new temple in Russia, and then no temple in Russia, and then Ukraine gets attacked. What? Ezekiel 38? What? Chapter heading by Bruce R. McConkie. And then you see the church doing a huge campaign with Islamic government and religious leaders. Just a whole campaign coming out with, we're just like Muslims. We're all about child bride polygamous marriages, especially in the afterlife. We believe in our Mormons sacrificing themselves to protect and defend this church because we're incapable of it. But we're still true. And then October 7th. Huh. And so when you see the First Presidency statements in consequence of both of these wars, Nelson tells Ukraine to lay down your weapons and submit to Putin. And the same with Israel. Stop it, Israel. Leave Hamas alone. Those hostages are faking it. They're on vacation, pooping on the Capitol walls. Dear God. And so, yeah, the BYU Jerusalem had to be closed. And apparently it got reopened somehow. I don't understand that. They're still at war. And it's now going to escalate to Hezbollah now. The UN is still telling Israel to back down. Don't you do it! They're doing it! Just so much anti-Semitism in the world. Because Islam had spent decades getting all their people into position around the world as sleeper cells. Because if women and children are coming to America and other countries claiming religious persecution of the abuse because they're women in Islam, and they are abused as women in Islam, just like Mormon women are abused in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Remember, we're just like Muslims. Islam is the religion, Muslim is the culture, nationality depends on where they live in the world. I have to keep explaining that, because when October 7th first came out and I was making comments trying to help people understand, people were saying, are you trying to claim the nationality? Are Are you really that stupid? That you don't know the difference? The church doesn't know the difference. They're trying to claim that the Muslim culture is the same as the Mormon culture, even though Nelson canceled Mormon culture. Just like cancel culture. Nelson is following the wisdom of the world. And so, people are not seeing the bigger picture of what's going on with what the church is up to, because they want their kingdom back, and they are purposely setting things up to get their kingdom back. They are committing crimes, they are committing coups, insurrections, quid pro quos, everything they can to get their kingdom back, and they cannot do it with the United States still operational. Even with Trump, they will not get their kingdom back. Guess I'll have to bow the knee to Trump. And so America must be destroyed. And so they've got it all set up. As Trump already told us, they're going to rig the election. We already know what's going to happen. He tells us everything. And the deep state Dem press are like, oh no, what do we do? The Insurrection Act? He should not be running for president. He's gonna do it if you don't. God, it's like they've never experienced what a bully is, and they don't know what to do now. The bully wants to take away our lunch money, and he's calling us Four Eyes and Freckle Face. Mommy? Oh, Mommy's dead? Seriously, are they that privileged to have never experienced a bully? God. So, I put that in my comment to Nicole Wallace's video. But yeah, it all goes back. Under Obama, I remember people were claiming that Obama is taking over the Walmarts. He's going to establish martial law and use them as concentration camps. And see, Walmart spelled backwards is martial law. I spelled it wrong. Crap. I thought I was being so clever by putting a point. But anyway. And so, yeah, what did Trump do? Well, we found out a couple years later. Because he kept it a secret. Locking up everybody in cages. And with the overflow, he had to use the Walmarts there at the southern border. Ta-da! Obama set it up for Trump. And so if Obama's not going to do it, Trump is going to do it. If Biden's not going to do it, Trump is going to do it. This is the mindset that they have. And the deep state Dems are just oblivious to this. They've apparently never read The Art of the Deal, where Trump says, I just throw stuff out there that are so abominable and atrocious that the press gets so distracted and overwhelmed that there's going to be stuff that gets through. And the stuff that doesn't get through, I just keep pushing until it gets through, as I add more stuff and escalate the others to the next level. That's his strategy. Chaos. Shock and awe. And that paralyzes people to not act, to take action. And everybody's trying to put out the individual fires that got through, and all of the individual fires that he claims trying to get through, that they don't go to the source and say, he's got to go, he's the threat. He's the violator of the Constitution. He's the danger to America. He's been president, asterisk, because he's been convicted now of rigging the 2016 election. Although he's apparently going to get away with it. And it'll probably get reversed. God, such incompetence. And that is why people don't trust our government anymore. And so to have the Democrats now trying to threaten everybody to stand with Biden when it's obvious he's not going to last 4 years. This is just sad to watch America descend into chaos. To know that this was premeditatively planned for 200 years, as it's right there in the Book of Mormon. And nobody is doing their job to stop it. And so, yeah, I've got a new thumbnail picture that I'll be using for this video and all future videos, along with the first video picture with Jesus in his underwear, the symbol of your bondage to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you, Oaks. So again, you gotta watch conferences. You can't go on vacation and think you're not gonna miss anything. Everybody who watches conference knows there's always a bombshell. And Hinckley, I know, he tried to dispel it. At first he was like egging it on, trying to get people to watch conference, that there's going to be some big announcement. But yeah, they had to put a stop to it. Because things were leaking. You guys are losing the spirit. You're the bad people. You're not doing what we want you to do. Okay, so am I going to be able to get to the young single adult hookup? Going out to get this morning, I again saw my little honey bunny crush. She's now my lady Redline. Just don't tell her that. I have associative memory. Every time I hear the train announce that it's the Red Line, I think of the sign, Red Line train to Georgia. And so my mind mentally picks up the Red Line train to Georgia. Oh, hilarious. And so, yeah, I wasn't able to get into the back car. I got there too late as the train was pulling in. So I had to rush into the first car to make it. And so I saw her when I got off the train, as she takes the blue line, which was having problems today, I guess. There's something going on with the blue line. And so I hope she was able to get to work today, but and not get punished for being late. Because then I might not get to see my little lady Redline ever again. And so, yeah, I'm well aware of her, whether she believes it or not. And so, yeah, I can always tell that she remembers me too. She tries not to look. She tries to give me the stiff upper lip. Just so many musical jokes here. Yep. Social to memory. It's awesome. And so I remember back in the day when I was a kid, I can't remember which school year it was. It could have been 8th grade, or it could have been, it was with Mason and Pickle. So I think it was 9th grade in high school, where we were asked to do a report on some subject, and I chose to do it on the island of Alcatraz. My initial intention was to do it on the prison on Alcatraz, because I had just seen Clint Eastwood's movie on the Saturday afternoon show on TV, Escape from Alcatraz. And I was so impressed by that. I wanted to make a Lego Alcatraz prison. Didn't have enough Legos. Mom wouldn't buy them for me. And didn't get enough allowance, especially when 10% had to go to the church as a kid. And people think it's a donation. It's called child labor violations. It's an extortion racket using children. God, what does it take to get Mormons to say, all right, I guess the 14 million Mormons were right, we gotta leave, and join them in protesting the church? Let's get the 14 million up to 17 million, fists in the air. That's a hint for what you already know. It's a thumbnail picture. And so, because of my paper, it actually won the school contest. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Because I did it on the native Indians that lived on the island of Alcatraz. And so they were impressed. You know, I'm in California, talking about a California native people, and I didn't realize that that was gonna, I didn't get enough information about the prison. I ended up finding about the Indians, and so, okay, cool. Are they the Lamanites that I've been told they are? Do they know about Jesus? And so, because I took first in my class, I was then sent to the regionals in Riverside County. And this is where people who won in the various schools in their whole region went. And in order for my mom to be a part of the award ceremony of her son, she volunteered, and I didn't know they were doing this, to be a parent babysitter. Mom! No! You're embarrassing me! And yeah, already upset with my family for what she did to me because of the church's abuse. And so I want nothing to do with my family. And so I didn't want to go to this thing, you know, great, whatever. And so we get there, and it's a whole day event. The judges got to go through all of the students' stuff, and review and analyze them. And then in the late afternoon was when they had the award ceremony. And so the kids, we'd get there to post our project, whatever it was. It wasn't all just reports. There was some other stuff too, I noticed. And and so we had the whole day thereafter to ourselves. And so there was the group of us from our school, and Mason and Pickle was a part of it. Again, associative memory, remember? It's because we went to a restaurant for lunch, and the guys were at one table and the girls were at the other table, and I don't know why I wanted to sit with the girls. I had a crush on Pickle. You think I'm picking on you, but no, I have a crush on you. It's only because Mason was trying to cut his pickle or something like that, and a portion of it flew and hit her in the back of the head. And thus, the guys thought it was hilarious, she was humiliated, and I'm going, I love you. A little teen horny kid. And so I would then go on to be inspired to develop a whole Pickle comics based on her. I was into comic strips. I did a whole Pickle comic strips. Because back in 7th grade with Mason, he was starting up a SSGK, Super Secret Society of Gumby Killers. Gumby and Pokey Show. For some reason, he had it in for Gumby, and it started a comic book club of how to kill Gumby in comic books. And so in order to get into the club, you had to do a comic strip of a unique way to kill Gumby. 7th grade. and so, yeah, I was well into art as a result. And so, yeah, I had some other stuff going on as well. Deft tongue and all that. And I even had a picture of mine in one of the New York Mission newsletters. Missionary flying through the air, holding on to a snake. Well, the concrete jungle of New York. My dad had thrown it all away. He just, dear God, Dad. You know, it's one thing to not like your son. It's another thing to destroy his life because you don't like him. God. My first book in kindergarten, gone. The earliest voice of me as a little toddler reading Are You My Mother? Gone. All because my dad. And yeah, he may have Alzheimer's. Because Grandma had Alzheimer's, which means I don't have Alzheimer's. But could be possible for future generations, depending on the mothers that marry in. And so, yeah, the Neil CEO of YouTube, he's on the board of the DNA thing that I was a part of. Way to go, you're attacking your customer twice over. God. Unbelievable. The church just destroys people's lives. Once they order you to attack me, your life is over. Because you either do it, and if you fail, your life is over. If you do it and succeed, your honor and integrity is lost. If you say no, the church destroys you. This church is just pure evil. Everything is, we must get power and we must get money. Everything. And people are just not catching on. They hear these things, oh, tithing, oh, SEC, oh, no, everything, guys. Quit calling tithing a donation. It's not. You know it's not. You're forced to pay it. Don't give me that excuse. I've been a Mormon born and raised. I know all this stuff. I can't spell Marshall right. But nonetheless, God. And so, we first get there, and we park in a parking lot quite a distance away, and so we have to walk and cross the street. My peers decided not to use the crosswalk, and so what do? Do I follow my mommy? Or do I follow my peers who are setting a bad example for me and are probably wanting to murder me? I follow my peers. And so my mom, as the babysitter, has to be the adult and say, "What are you doing? Get over here on the crosswalk." Mom! So I didn't want to be there with her. She just wanted to be there so that she can see that I got the award. Because she still felt guilty the rest of her life, because I made her feel guilty the rest of her life for missing my 6th grade graduation. Abandoning me at the school. Everybody's gone. I'm all alone. And so I sit by one of the buildings for who knows how long because my mom abandoned me. Oh my hell. And so, yeah, in the end, and I got 3rd place. It was an honor. Actually, it was an honorary mention. 3rd place was a science fair project. This was an honorary mention because I covered native people of Alcatraz Island. So, yay, great, whatever. I at least had fun with Pickle, who inspired me, changed my life without her changing my life. Women don't get that. Can't force men to change. They change just by being with you. And if you don't like it, you need to bail immediately. Because it's only going to get worse as we get closer to you. Get closer to more songs. And so, either before or after lunch, we then went to a little gift shop type place. And in the store, I saw that there were stairs leading up to a single room that was added into the building. And Mason and one of the other guys that were with us, I think it was Leon, wanted to go check and see what's in that room. And so we went up, naive little boys, in the prime of puberty. We go up the stairs, stairway to heaven, and we get to the door, and a guy comes out, sees us, sees that we're kids, and says, "Don't look in here, you'll go blind." So it was all vintage postcards of, nudie cuties. Very excellent artwork. But nonetheless, the Christian fear of women that led to the Spanish Inquisition, witch's hammer, and the Salem witch trials in America. Oh, honey, you caught me having sex with this other woman. I mean, she used her witchcraft on me. I'm helpless. It's not my fault. So, okay, got that done. Good. Now, we're at 50 minutes. 5 things the LDS Church no longer teaches by somebody. And so, you have Joseph Smith looking at plates, and then you have Joseph Smith looking in a hat. And yeah, that's September 6th. That's the result of this. And it took the church time, and it took the internet, and it took social media. And so now the church no longer teaches Joseph Smith read from plates. He looked in a rock and a hat. And he didn't do either. I've been trying to get it through to you all these years. Joseph Smith had nothing to do with any part of the composition of the Book of Mormon. And so, yes, looking at a rock and a hat still is a lie. He had a hat, he had a rock, he had 2 rocks. It's not the rock the church shows. The 2 rocks are different rocks. They're still lying. But he didn't use it for the plates. He used it because he found the rocks in the well of Martin Harris's farm. He was hired by Martin Harris to dig the well. And in the process of digging the well, he found the rocks. And so he learned the little hat trick from his daddy, who was in the New Israelites in Vermont, learning about Jewish Kabbalah. And so he learned from Justice Winchell, who joined, who wanted to be a polygamist, and taught them dowsing as well as forging metals. Not forging documents, forging metals. And so Senior would take that knowledge of forging metals to make the barrels with the copper rings to put in gunpowder, because you want to use copper if you're going to store gunpowder in a barrel. And the copper helps reinforce it because gunpowder gets pretty heavy. Whereas the fruits and vegetables from his garden, he could put those in regular wood barrels. But the copper also provided cover so that he can work on making the plates to give to the print press when the Book of Mormon is completed. But why would he need copper for barrels of gunpowder? 9/11, 1826. The reason for the coming forth of the Book of Mormon. And so, yeah, all of these things, you've got to know the full church history. Otherwise, you get duped by the church. And you're all still duped. South Park got the right rocks. Why couldn't you? Why do you believe the church after they tell you they've lied to you? Liars can never tell the truth. They just can't do it. My peers in grade school, they lied. They always lied. They could never tell the truth. You could never trust them. And so, yeah, there's more than 5 things that the LDS Church no longer teaches. They no longer teach you that we're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They say we are, but we're not. This is why Mormons don't understand why the leaders of the church get paid for priestcraft, and the stake presidents on down don't. It's because the stake presidents on down are the religion, used as chattel, tithing, for the priestcraft of Heber J. Grant, 1923, the corporation of the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the official name of this church. They won't tell you. And so, yes, it's a big scam. This is a business. It's not a religion. But they claim religion as the shield, just like Tony Soprano on The Sopranos claimed to be a trash man, sanitation worker. And so every time they collected the money for sanitation for the various stores, they'd hit them up for the extortion racket money at the same time to protect them from other gangs. And as long as you paid up, nothing would happen to you. Otherwise, you have no protection, and they'd cause the harm if you didn't. We want our $2, gonna break your kneecaps. That's the bishops. The whole thing is a criminal organization, and they won't tell you. There's a lot more they won't tell you. I've been doing the videos all these years. Everything, they won't tell you. Everything is not what they say. How many times do I have to do videos before that becomes clear? So, yeah, I'm just baffled. I don't understand why they would have silenced my voice, other than to try to keep me from getting views, but they were already successful. Before they shut me down, I had 46 views. This is still a month ago when they shut me down. The end of May. And so 46 views on the last video before they shut me down, and I did the video saying they shut me down after that. And so the church lies and commands Mormons to love. Stop LDS Lies. 46 views. Writing Book of Mormon by Gift and Power of Scripture Study. 53 views. Or 52. Still having problems with my vision, with this illness. Down with the sickness. 53. Feeling good about corrupt LDS Church seed proves it's true. 40. And so, here's the breakout video. This is probably why. 30th of May, 2024. 2 guilty verdicts prove Book of Mormon true. 104 views. That was Chad Daybell gets convicted. And there's Angry Jesus. Don't make me angry. Pay up today. Emulating white supremacist Mormon Christian Nationalist LDS Church Jesus Christ. 63 views. Too proud to leave the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 63 views. Explaining Bible plagiarism within the Book of Mormon. It was done on purpose. 61 views. See, there's no explanation as to why they just forbid me from watching YouTube when signed in. And so I've got to go all the way back to those videos to try to catch up, because I was trying to watch because that seemed to be the way to get my views greater attention. But as you can see, Not by much. So we're at 1 hour. Are we good with 1 hour? Shut this program down. Do we want to do Coltrane, or did we go too long on this? I think we went too long on it. So we'll do the video, or the young adults to finish it off and still get to Coltrane another year. Remember last year, the church forced into servitude a new council committees for young single adults, for both the men and the women. And their first act of unrighteous dominion when they took power, as they supposed. Do you not know the scripture where that comes from? Would it help if I said, Amen? Or maybe many are cold, but few are frozen. You catch it on yet? And so, yeah, it's hilarious to watch a new president of the church do his first act of unrighteous dominion. And Hinckley thought he was hilarious. This is my first act of unrighteous dominion. We're going to start this. They know they're bad. They want to be bad. Make bad look so righteous. Yeah, I want to listen to her song. And so, yeah, as I'm seeing Lady Redline, she's single, no ring on her finger. I can't remember if you want to put a ring on it. I don't know if it was Beyonce or Rihanna or whoever it was that did that song decades ago that all women loved. Yay! Show how rich you are by giving me a nice ring that I can show off to my girlfriends and make them feel bad. It's supposed to be about the two of you, not about your friends. Who cares what your friends think of them? If you love them, that's all that matters. So don't feel insecure just because somebody threw pickle in your hair. There's a guy who's watching and shy. So yeah, my pickle comics were a great success. Everybody loved them. Except for Pickle, she was offended. She didn't understand. It means I have a crush on you. So, all of it gone. Thanks, Dad. And so their first act of unrighteous dominion was to hold singles activities, believing that you just simply get them together into an activity and the guys will propose to a woman that night. If you don't know, it's BYU, not for Brigham Young University. No. Brigham Young University. And so when I got home from my mission, everybody was telling me, you've got to hold out for a year. And don't go for the first woman you meet. Because everybody seems to fall within 2 weeks once they get home from the mission. And so, yeah, I barely made it. Missed it by 2 months. But I didn't choose the first one. I didn't choose the second one. My one regret. Leanne is my only regret in life. I just thought she was just too perfect for me. And she went off and married the computer guy within 2 weeks. I'm sure it was just a rebound. But, yeah, the church did a follow-up article in the church news saying it was a huge success. Well, okay, how many marriages did you get out of it? What was the point if you're not going to get marriages? The whole plan and purpose of the church is to have men pay tithing, to be worthy, to have sex finally, and have sex thoughts, at least just for a couple of minutes, until you impregnate your wife that you were sealed to in the temple as a prostitute. I told you, the whole church is corrupt. It's all criminal. Your wife is a prostitute for the church. Nelson is the pimp, forcing you to pay the church. You can't masturbate. You can't have sexual thoughts. No sexy thoughts. And if you start to get a sexy thought, you need to pray, sing a hymn. Or, like the Book of Mormon musical, turn it off. Because that's not scientifically wrong whatsoever. Right, women? Oh, God. The church lies about our sex ed, and so both feel shame for their own bodies and then guilt trip the others for their bodies. And then blame porn. And so, yeah, it's been a big frustration as the singles epidemic, even crisis in Utah, the capital of family values, has just way too many single members of the church. The people just are not getting together anymore. And it's not helping that the last couple of years we're finding out that Mormon couples are now turning to murder. This is so sad. You're expecting the other person to be a certain way, and then you find out in the marriage they're not. That's the trap the church sets for us, is that we expect that our wives are virgin pure, right? Well, while you were on your mission, I was waiting for you spiritually. Why didn't you just give me a Dear John? Well, it didn't work out between the two of us. It was just one of those things, a one-nighter. And then women blame men. And it's just, I went through both the younger singles ward and the older singles ward, kicked out of the family ward, because I was told I need to get married. I can't be divorced. But the younger singles wanted nothing to do with me because I'm now divorced with the first wife. They don't want my evil in their lives. They've got their fantasies about the perfect Peter priesthood, who's the perfect image, and thus the image illustrates the inward heart and spirit. Have you never heard of whitewashing? It's in the scriptures. People can lie to you. A Peter priesthood, or a wolf in Peter priesthood clothing. I saw it as a guy. I saw lots of guys who were wolves in Peter priesthood clothing. And I saw the women all drooling over him, hoping that he will get they can get his attention. So disgusting. I'm right here. Right here. Indiana Jones. See, once you get to know me, you begin to understand where the source of my comments come from. Music, entertainment, TV, movies. And it's vast. And so once you start catching on to that, Stephanie, I think her name was Stephanie, not the one I married. It was pre-mission Stephanie. She caught on. She goes, oh yeah, I understand what you're doing. You're using cartoons and commercials and movies. Yeah, I understand it. You never said they were funny. But she understood. And so, yeah, the standards and values of the younger singles are just way too high. The church set them up for failure with the For Strength of Youth standards and values. They expect the guys to be obedient to the For Strength of Youth standards and values and don't realize that the guys interpret it differently than the girls do. At least for the guys' part. And so, yeah, those kinds of problems are blatantly seen within the first day of marriage. As the woman may not have gone on a mission, just came straight from daddy's home into the marriage, and now all of a sudden she's having to live with somebody and sleep with him in the same bed. Whereas the guy, we had to live with someone but not in the same bed on our missions. It said that in our missionary white Bible. As if we didn't know already, they had to make sure we understood. It was still the Boy Scout motto or oath or whatever, to be morally straight. And so, by the time the women who don't get married end up in the older singles ward, and their standards and values begin to lessen. Now they just want a guy who has a job. So sad. And they don't understand that the guys who don't get married at their age are the losers who couldn't get a girl. Or they got a girl and they're divorced now. And so their lives are ruined. And so they may have a job until the church doesn't like them anymore, trying to get them off of the committee some other way. And God, they were trying hard to get me off of that committee. Had farms calling in, trying to get rid of me. And the supervisor had to say, he's been approved by Jesus, guys. Jesus wants him to be a part of this. But. And then working for the church. They tried to get rid of me. So that right before, they tried to make sure that all of us had temple recommends renewed and reviewed. We had to show our temple recommends to work at the church. And if we didn't have our temple recommend updated, out we go. We get fired. They were trying to get me for that because they thought, oh, okay, we'll get Travis. No. And so they had to figure out another way. So the supervisor, Dick, that was his name, Dick, he preferred to go by Dick rather than Richard. It's not me, him, Dick. He's the Dick. He said so. He's trying to claim that I didn't help the business at all to justify not giving me the raise I'm supposed to get, so that the church can hoard more money. And so I called him out on it. And he was not happy. Immediately burst into a rage and ran out of the room screaming, I want him fired! So I took 2 weeks of vacation time. And at the end of it, they're upset with me. Are you coming back to work or not? I don't have a job, do I? I quit. Bleep you. So yeah, they finally got rid of me because of their abuse. You know, they couldn't just fire me for the sake of firing me. They don't allow unions. They'll fire you if you try to start a union. But yeah, it's sad. The low percentages of marriages is just saddening, as women just are crushed because they get booted out right before their time. And so to fail the older singles ward as well has just got to be crushing for Mormon women who get bullied by their female peers in Relief Society to be perfect and have a family. And for single women to be passed up all the way through and to end up being a consolation prize of a CEO of a company, and that's just tear-jerking. That these women were thinking that they were going to go on missions and they had their whole life planned out. They'd come back and get a career and get financially stable, and then in their 30s they'll find the guy who did the same thing. He went on a mission, he got a career, he's stable and never married, because guys can just turn it off. And happily ever after with 1.2 kids. And stigma gone. And women don't see and understand the bigger picture, that the church doesn't want them to have their fantasy life fulfilled. As Oaks last year just railed on the women for not getting married at 16 years of age. God. He had charts and everything. Oh my God. So, yeah. See, I'm so much better. The soreness is gone. This is awesome. I highly recommend it. 100%, not cocktail. God. Why do they mix cocktails with the 100% pures? I'll never know. The cocktails need to be put over by the soda pops. So, anyway. It's a sugary drink, those cocktails. It is not pure juice. So, anyway. But yeah, it tricks people into getting the cocktails that are on sale when the 100%ers are not. And so, yeah, this wasn't on sale. So, but yeah, orange juice is preventative. But ever since the oranges of the investigation, Trump's not a puppet. He doesn't say what other people say. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Gotcha. The cost of orange juice has just skyrocketed, and I can't afford to have the supply of orange juice to have it daily to prevent this from happening with these mosquitoes. And so typically I would have concentrated grapefruit juice in the freezer as a backup. And I realized that the orange juice was doing so well that I didn't get the grapefruit juice either. And then the church attacked and sent me to Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking for the LDS Church. And then that caused more problems. But here I am. And there are things I should have done if I knew, and I just dropped the ball. And so, yeah, but orange juice, I couldn't afford orange juice. So that made me vulnerable. So now I have to do preventative with grapefruit juice. Grapefruit juice is preventative. Orange juice is preventative. Grapefruit juice is first responder. I'm not sure what the word is for that. Alrighty. Damage control. But, yeah, dear God. Just trying to warn you that the church is trying to destroy America. Church is behind all of the economic problems you're going through, all of the government problems we're all going through. Everything around the whole world has been triggered by the church. They've been working on this for 200 years, setting this all up. And here I am, the lone voice, trying to save as many people's lives as will listen. And instead, Mormons get offended and get angry and lash out at me when it's the church that they need to be lashing out at. They don't understand that when the danger comes, you're just chattel to them. You are not the corporate board. It does not trickle down. That's Reagan economics. It trickles to the top. That's why they collect. So, Alrighty, hour and a half. Yeah, the other videos are meant to be quick videos. I don't know if I'll get to it today because this is an hour and a half. It's already 9:30 in the morning.